The fog along the south bank was the color of cigarette ash and just as choking. Gerda ran hard, blonde hair loose and heavy with damp, streaming down her back like a pale river no one could dam. No ponytail. Never a ponytail. Ponytails were for girls who still believed the world might be kind. At Westminster Bridge she slowed, lungs burning, and let the tourists flow around her. A group of sixth formers from her school shouted her name. Gerda! Party at mine tomorrow, yeah? You have to come. She flashed the smile everyone expected, bright, effortless, untouchable, and waved. They adored her. Captain of the cross-country team, the Lithuanian girl with the tragic past and the perfect grades, the one who organized charity runs for childhood cancer and never let anyone see her cry. At school she was golden, notes passed about her in lessons, invitations that never stopped, people orbiting her like she was the only source of warmth in London's grey winter. She was terrified of losing it. Every laugh, every arm slung round her shoulders, every "you're amazing" Gerda was borrowed time. One crack in the mask and the whole glittering thing would shatter. They would see the jealous sister who pressed a pillow over a dying girl's face because their parents had looked at someone else for too long. 2 years today. She started running again, faster, past the London Eye's slow mechanical heartbeat. The excuses marched in step. It wasn't murder. It was mercy. Asta wanted it. They never saw me anyway. If I lost them completely I would disappear. I would stop existing. Asta had taken everything long before the cancer finished her, the bedtime stories, the proud parental glances, the university fund, the childhood itself. Gerda had watched herself being erased day by day, visit by visit, hospital corridor by hospital corridor. By the time Asta whispered, "Mum and Dad love me again," in that wasted little voice, Gerda had already been a ghost for years. So she finished the job properly. People do monstrous things when they're starving. In the wilderness they eat the weak. In families they smother them with lavender-scented pillows and call it kindness. Gerda cut away from the river lights, into the narrow streets behind Tate Modern where the fog swallowed sound. Her phone kept buzzing in her pocket, friends checking she was okay, friends who thought her silences were poetic, friends who would scatter like birds the moment they smelled blood on her. She ducked into an alley that stank of piss and river rot and leaned against the wall, chest heaving. Her hair clung to her face in wet ropes. A child's voice, thin and amused, drifted out of the fog. "They only love you because I'm dead, Gerda." She whipped round. Nothing. Just brick and darkness and the distant wail of a siren. "You think they'll still want you when they know," the voice continued, closer now, coming from inside her own mouth somehow. "When they find out their perfect girl murdered her little sister for attention." "Shut up," she whispered. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Tiny fingernails on the inside of her skull. She pressed both palms to her ears, but the sound followed, patient, inevitable. All it would take was one anonymous message. One confession in the wrong moment. One person noticing that Gerda never cried about Asta anymore, not really. The whole shining life she had built in London, captain, charity queen, the girl everyone needed, would collapse overnight. They would look at her the way her parents had looked at the empty hospital bed, with horror that something so wrong had been hiding in plain sight. Gerda slid down the wall until she sat in the filth, arms wrapped around her knees, long blonde hair curtaining her like a shroud. "I had to," she said to the dark. "I was disappearing. You left me no choice." A cold hand settled on the back of her neck, small, bird-boned, impossibly real. Asta's voice, right against her ear, soft as the pillow had been. "Keep running, Gerda. They'll never catch you if you never stop." Gerda surged to her feet and ran. Out of the alley, through the fog, past the glowing windows full of people who still believed she was good. Her hair flew wild behind her, a pale banner of guilt no one could read. She ran until her legs bled inside her shoes, until her lungs tasted of iron, until the only sound in the world was her own heartbeat screaming the same lie she would die defending. It was her fault. It was her fault. It was her fault. And somewhere in the dark between footfalls, very softly, something that used to be Asta ran beside her, keeping perfect pace, waiting for the day Gerda finally tired.